It was a cold, windy Saturday. The overcast sky seemed to stretch endlessly, reflecting the heaviness in my chest. I stood on the pier, watching the restless waves crash against the shore. Fishing was the last thing on my mind. Instead, I gazed at the horizon, lost in thought, wondering where my life was heading. Some days are just meant to be spent alone, and this was one of them. My name is Bill Jackson. I've called this place home for 48 years. In that time, I've earned my PhD from the School of Hard Knocks. Looking back on the last 25 years of my life, I often wonder if I would have done things differently. My career in construction management was solid, predictable, even. I knew the industry inside and out. Most days were routine, with the occasional unexpected challenge. The job paid well, and stress was manageable. But as I stood there, my thoughts shifted to my family. 2 of our children had grown up and graduated from college, a milestone I once doubted they'd achieve. They had finally found their footing in life, and I was proud of them. For the first time in years, I didn't feel the constant weight of worry. I told my wife, Lisa, I'd be out fishing for the day. Lisa and I had been married for decades, having met in college. Ours was a stable marriage, nothing spectacular, but steady and reliable. We'd weathered our share of ups and downs, yet we were comfortable with each other. She was someone I could grow old with. But when I reached the pier, fatigue from the week caught up with me. I didn't cast a line. Instead, I just stood there, letting my thoughts wander as the wind bit through my jacket. By 10 a.m., chilled to the bone, I decided to head home early. As I drove back, the drizzle turned the streets slick, a reminder of how frustrating the first rain can be. As I rounded the corner to my street, I noticed a red Corvette in my driveway. I frowned. Who could it be? I didn't know anyone who drove a Corvette. Parking at the curb, I got out and entered the house. Oddly, the door was unlocked. I wandered through the living room and kitchen but found no one. Then, I heard a low, muffled moan from upstairs. My pulse quickened. Quietly, I crept up the stairs and peeked into our bedroom. What I saw froze me in place. My wife, Lisa, was lying in our bed with a man I didn't recognize. Middle-aged, balding, and utterly unfamiliar. They were oblivious to my presence, lost in their own world. My mind raced. Anger, disbelief, and betrayal surged through me. I didn't confront them. Instead, I stepped back and took a couple of photos with my phone. I needed proof, answers. Barging in would have been impulsive. Backing away, I walked out of the house, noting the Corvette's license plate before leaving. Later, I hired a private investigator who quickly identified the man, Bob Murphy. I didn't act right away. Revenge, I realized, is best served cold. That night, I treated Lisa as if nothing had happened. We went to dinner and a movie, returning home late. She was too tired to suspect anything, let alone initiate intimacy. I was already putting my plan into motion. The next morning, I was up early, making breakfast. Lisa came downstairs, greeted by the smell of scrambled eggs, bacon, and coffee. I poured her a cup and handed her a plate, all while playing the role of the perfect husband. But my mind was elsewhere. As I poured coffee into her cup, I accidentally spilled the piping hot liquid onto her lap. Lisa shrieked in pain, jumping from her seat. "Oh my God!" I exclaimed, feigning panic. "Are you okay? Should I call a doctor?" She clutched at her scalded skin, tears streaming down her face. I hurried her to the bathroom, running cold water in the tub to soothe the burn. Her lower abdomen was red and raw. "I'm so sorry," I said, masking the satisfaction that burned beneath my apology. "I wasn't thinking." Lisa sat in the cold water, whimpering. My thoughts, however, were already racing ahead. Bob Murphy would soon learn that some mistakes come with a heavy price. And Lisa? She'd soon realize that betrayal never goes unnoticed. Let's see how many guys you can entertain now. Days later, and with some ice packs, Lisa began to move around in the house. Since she was in bed, I got my chance to bug the house. Now, I could hear all her conversations, whether private or on the phone. A few days after Lisa crawled out of bed, Lisa's boyfriend, Bob, called her on the phone. It got recorded. He wanted to know when he could come over. Lisa explained that she wouldn't be able to have sex for a while but wouldn't mind having some fun. She even reported that protein shake would be beneficial to recover quickly. I chuckled to myself and said, "Fools, she didn't have any lesson learned." 0 p.m. Once Lisa had gone upstairs to sleep, I started. I cut my 12-gauge double-barreled shotgun barrels into 12-inch lengths. I cut off the handle so that the stock could be grasped in one hand. I extracted a couple of 12-gauge shell casings, poured out the lead, and filled the spaces with granulated rock salt. The modified shotgun was ready. 0 p.m. While Lisa was fast asleep, I decided it was time to talk to Bob.